Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down.
It has been long overdue to expose the truth that the Democrats and Republicans are sucking the life out of America's liberty and usurping our rights at every turn. Now is the time to seize our civil liberties and take back our individual rights. Here on Southern Liberty, we will expose it all. With his musket on his back, the Declaration of Independence in one hand, and the Constitution in the other, here's your host, Roderick Threets.
Happy Tuesday, and welcome to this episode of The Experience Today here on the Southern Liberty Radio Podcast. Appreciate everybody coming through this evening as always. With my lovely co-host here, Miss Valerie Zen. She always brings that fire behind her. Y'all can hear when she's coming with fire. She it's like a fire-breathing dragon. You know what I mean? Y'all feel it. Y'all feel it. Y'all feel it. We want to talk about some New York-ish stuff, and I think the co-host, obviously, she agrees totally wholeheartedly, because I think we're seeing a lot of this New York type mentality being thrown around, the good and the bad. What do you think, Miss Val?
I think New York is nothing like what I grew up in.
It's definitely a different beast, even just from the early 2000s. Then now it's a different beast.
Yeah, and I was just saying to Bruce, I don't even know where that thin line came from in 2014, 15, when Trump just started getting going, and all of a sudden the hatred came out. And I didn't really see it before that in the same way. I saw it. But I saw it more in business, in the political environment that I was forced into, which I will talk about. But I just sort of want to go back to being a kid in New York, where everybody was very open environment, very talkative, very creative. I think having the access to great schools as a kid, wonderful teachers, people who were real. New York was real. If somebody didn't like you, they said, upper U.S., and you knew, go the other way. Your parents taught you fight your own battles. It was a tough environment, actually, growing up as a kid, because the other kids would just beat the crap out of you. So would your parents, and whichever way you turned, you had to figure things out for yourself. It was a good, healthy environment, Yeah, you do know.
Yeah, nowadays, oh my God, I can't believe that you do that to kids. I'm like, man, look here. Look here.
I know.
I just look at these folks now. It's like, why you think my age group don't give a shit about what you talking about right now?
That's right. It doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't mean anything to us, because we learned how to be tough. We learned how to stand up for our own rights, and we knew who we were. That's the only way you learn who you are. If you get brought up by parents that are coddling you, making things all complicated for you, I don't know. It wasn't me, so I don't know how a person grows strong in that type of an environment unless they just sort of are that way naturally. And some people are.
Yeah, some people are naturally passive like that, right? Like these people now that we're speaking on, right? And yep, I'm throwing a whole lot of shade out there as usual, but You know, we're the people. We're the type of people. If push came to shove, and if it was our liberty and freedom over it literally as it is over anything else, we would leave our own family behind to preserve the liberty that we have in order to rebuild it. Because if the people that defend the liberty, right, retreat back into the confines of the bastion or whatever where they're going to get you, then liberty's going to die. Somebody's got to survive to push it forward. And these young kids, they'll be the ones that will run back in the fire, right? Sit there and then try to counsel you out. Like, no, we out. We're good. You ain't coming. We're good. Look, you ain't got to tell me twice. Fire over there. I'm running that way.
You know, Rod, think about how history has not been taught. I'm going to take a guess for about 20 years now, 15, 20 years. We grew up in a time where we learned world history. We heard about World War II, World War I, the Chinese Communist Party, the Soviet Union, and we learned that was not where we wanted to be. And why? We learned what it was comparatively to our country. If these kids today, and for the past, let's just say 15 years, are not being taught history, world history, then they have no idea what's happening right now. And I think the people that are a little bit older right now are looking at what's happening saying, holy, this is really bad. I grew up never wanting this. I grew up being frightened to death of this. And now we have young people saying, oh, this is okay. Or I am, as David Zier said on RAV today, I am a New York zombie. And I don't give a hoot and I don't give a damn because I'm just stoned out stupid.
Well, look.
Right?
Well, look. You're either a stoned out zombie stupid, and yes, I'm about to throw some more shade to New York. Or you're one of those guys that ride around and shoot at people outside of your front windows in your car because someone said a bad word to you, but want to blame the white people from across the way in Queens for you shooting at another person because they called you a name.
Right.
Yeah, I threw some shade. I sure did. I don't care. Anyway, go ahead.
You know, when I was a little girl, I used to go to work with my dad in New York City. He had a fruit and vegetable store on the corner of 23rd and 3rd.
Okay.
And I remember walking down the street with Dad, holding his hand, and I would see all these like weird people, like a man in like a little doorway kind of jumping up and down, and I'd say, Dad, what is he doing? And he'd say to me, oh, that's a heroin addict. And I said, what is a heroin addict?
Right.
And he actually told me what it was and how, you know, I mean, I grew up very frightened of that, and the concept just became something I would never consider. Nor would I consider hanging out with anybody that was in that boat. And, you know, it's the little things when you're younger that stand out and you open your eyes and see reality. How does a young kid see reality today in that regard?
Mm-hmm.
They see drug addicts everywhere. They see their parents doing drugs. They see everybody addicted to something. They see a world that's gone absolutely nonsensical, but they don't even realize it's nonsensical because it's their world. It's what they know. They don't even see the contrast that we grew up with. That gave us the ability to see what we wanted, what we didn't want, who we were not. There are no lines now.
Yeah.
There are lines for people who are older, but not that younger generation. There are young Republicans in New York. I saw this young guy on Steve Bannon this morning. I mean, there is a young Republican Party in New York City, but they're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They're overwhelmed by that environment. And it's toxic, very toxic. And that's why people are leaving. That's why people are running out of that city, running out of California. There's two really nasty places to look at and say, I want to be there or I don't want to be there. There are your two examples of the lines, right?
That's right.
So,
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
When you gather that many people in one space like that, this is how you create a volatile political climate. I mean, all the time I spend overseas, right? Especially Europe, especially Eastern Europe. I understand how the Soviet Union kept a hold of the Eastern Bloc, because I mean, literally the Eastern Bloc. If you were to travel all the Eastern Bloc countries from top to bottom, literally it'd be like driving from here to New York. Literally, be like driving here to New York. And when you get when you get over, your cities are running. Your bigger, your medium-sized cities in the Eastern Bloc are running 500 to 600,000 people. A city, metropolitan area is expanding about 2 million. When you get that many people, I want people to visualize this a second, right? You have 10 to 12 major cities in the Eastern Bloc, right? In the old former Soviet Eastern Bloc, right? And they all have metropolises of 2 to 3 million. And they're all strung out from Miami, Florida to I wouldn't even say New York. I would say Washington, D.C. I want y'all to really think about that a second, how compact that is. And you wonder how they kept control of the Eastern Bloc nations with communism. I just want you to visualize that
China,
a second.
Put China into the same category.
China
was a republic.
Yep.
And people don't even know that we are supposedly living in a republic, except today, I think a lot more people got effing scared. They really saw the tyrannical prosecutors going at it. Mm-hmm. And if this wasn't the first reality check, just think we have another year and a half of this shit to look forward to. And we do, because after this, they're going to Atlanta or Fulton County or wherever in Georgia. Then they're going to do the January 6th thing. Then they're going to torture this man. And I don't know how many people heard Trump tonight say, and it was sort of very quick and under his breath, and maybe I heard it wrong, but he said something about there was an offer of 3 months in jail for a 75-year-old if he pleaded guilty. And I know about this plea deal shit really well firsthand. Or if he said not guilty, he could go to prison for 10 years. At 75 years old, that means life in prison.
Yep. Yeah, a guy of Trump's age wouldn't survive 5 years. He wouldn't survive 5 years.
You know, tonight, and God bless, he has every reason on the planet to be worn out. He was worn out tonight at Mar-a-Lago when he gave that speech, and I really felt bad for him, like really bad for him. And to be put through. Okay, I'm gonna step back for a minute because Alan Dershowitz, who was sort of a friend of mine and my late husband's, we knew him on Martha's Vineyard. We had been to a number of parties with him, and he agreed to write the back of my husband's book. And I just want to read it. He said, "The greatness of America is the freedom to fight back and to win in the marketplace of ideas. I commend Michael Zinn for exercising the right to tell his side of the story. Every American who cares about justice should read it. Every prosecutor who doesn't want to become a bully must be able to see their causes through the eyes of those whose lives are in their hands. Alan Dershowitz, professor at Harvard Law. I will tell you, this morning, he said, I trained all these guys. And he was embarrassed. And I am humiliated as a New Yorker. Today, I was just humiliated and angry at the same time because it's not who I am. And obviously, I left there a long time ago, 20 years ago. But just like, you stupid, young, liberal, Nazi, communist motherfuckers, you do not see what you're doing to this country, the last bastion of freedom and liberty on this damn planet. You assholes. I feel sorry for the kids because the little kids will never know what they lost. But the people in their 20s and 30s, they're going to look around 5-10 years from now and say, oh my God, what did we let happen? And for every person out there that says, I don't watch the news, I don't want to be involved in the news, you're the reason that this is happening, because you're sitting there quiet and not saying anything with your head down, and nothing infuriates me more. Nothing. Everybody's got it. I think this is going to be a cohesive moment, actually. That's just my personal opinion. I'm going to take this to a positive place. I think that there's going to be a lot of so-called Republicans and conservatives that are going to step forward and say, holy, I never bargained for this. And that's going to be good. There's also going to be too many people that just will see nothing. And I don't know where that will go, what that mix will look like in the sauce. But we have gangsters running this country right now. And it's bad. And it's worse than it was in the late 90s when I went through what I went through with my late husband.
I mean, Val, let's call a spade, right? This is the oligarchy. The American oligarchy is worse than any Russian one will ever be, right?
It's the American Bolsheviks.
Yeah. I mean, look, the American oligarchy, right, have shown us that they will assassinate people that don't follow along, Seth Rich. Mm-hmm. How many more other people do we got to name? Those all of a sudden attorneys that just drop dead out of nowhere in the middle of their house. I'm just saying, right? This American oligarchy, they learn from the Capones, they learn from the Gambinos, they learn from La Cosa Nostra, they learn, right, from all these people on how to run a criminal organization. Like this government and the oligarchy that is propping it up should be brought up on RICO charges. But I digress.
Absolutely.
Right? I digress. Mm-hmm. These people, this American oligarchy it makes people like Victor Boot look like a friendly hamster of the shit they pull on the American people and use quote unquote government institutions to do it. They just don't send people in. They use government institutions to do it. I want people to think about that a second.
Yeah. Everybody's being used right now to the fullest.
Yep.
Well, New York is now the home of the immature Harvard disgrace. That's all I could say. And they all sound so smart. I mean, listen to them. Oh, they sound so educated and smart. What? Listen, Trump said it tonight in his brief speech from Mar-a-Lago. He said, listen, these people are all part of a family of Trump derangement syndrome. They hate me. And like I started the show, I don't exactly know what happened because I know that I always saw Donald Trump on TV. He was on Oprah. He had his show, The Apprentice, which I loved personally. So I like business. And where did it hit people so quickly at such a pace that they went from, 1 week saying, this guy's a joke, this is not going to happen, to I hate his guts and we're going to try to kill him? Like, when?
You know what though? Let me flip the script on that a second, right? Now, Donald's not a dumb dude.
No.
But I don't think Trump understood the power he had the first go around. I don't think he understood, right? Because of the way he moved in a lot of ways, the way he moved, right? Like, he didn't realize that all of a sudden his whole life paradigm would be flipped on its head. The people he had just maybe a week ago shook hands with and had dinner with and closing a business deal with were hating his guts. Yeah. Right? The fear of these people knowing somebody that really don't roll with them in their circles and says what come to his mind first, right? Knew all of their secrets and could have exposed them all on day one. But he didn't. I don't think he realized he had that much power. Listen, for a whole nation to talk about you, call you everything but a child of God or a child from God, right? That right there tells me everything I need to know about people when they want to dog you out for no reason. Even they dog you out for doing the right thing, they dog you out. Right?
Yeah. Well, he definitely was naive in terms of the people that he allowed into his circle. I don't blame him in the COVID thing because he was as shook up as the rest of us. I don't think he knew what was coming. And there were already people on board working in the White House, i.e. Fauci and what's her name, the scarf lady, and he just let them take over. I would have done the same thing. I wouldn't have known what to do. So I don't.
He's not a doctor.
That's right. I don't fault him for that. But I do fault him for being a naive Gemini. And I'm going to tell you, I know a lot of Geminis in my life, and they all have this quality. It's just something inborn in them. And I don't follow astrology per se, but when I look at the month that people are born, it usually kind of sort of fits the bill to a great extent. But I think, let's just look at that for a minute, because I do personally believe that Trump came into this presidency being invited by some people to be a part of this in order to break up and take down some of this really horrible stuff that was going on. I think he knew to some extent what he was stepping into, except the sand was deeper than he thought. But, who knows whether people are going to be able. I think a lot of people are waking up and realizing this is not good. This is a terrible place our country is now, and we don't want this anymore. They certainly know they don't want Joe Biden. They certainly know that they don't approve of the CIA and the FBI and blah, blah, blah. They see the economy is crashing. They see the banking system is going down, maybe. But there's also people that don't see this stuff. All they see is the gas price.
For me though, Val, it's, watch this. I'm going to go all the way there with y'all. I don't want those people vote. Right? Yeah. Because these are the people that are now realizing what's happening were the people that voted against Donald Trump and not for Biden. So I don't want people voting for Trump because they don't like Biden. That's
right.
That's some flip flop bullshit if I ever heard it. Either you stay consistent, right?
Yeah.
You stay consistent on principle, or don't put. Look, I'm not telling people not to vote, but don't put your ballot in the box, because you're going to be voting on the same paradigm. And then you're also going to be you didn't learn anything the first time. You're just doing it because I don't like what he's doing, so I'm just going to vote for the other guy. No, why are you voting for him? And you hold them accountable to that. That's why me and those folks ain't the same. We ain't the same.
I understand that, but Rod, if people are getting exposed in a way they never have been before, and they start to look at the issues, we could shift in that regard in a positive way.
We could.
I'm just saying.
We could.
Yeah, and I don't want to discount people who have been asleep necessarily. A lot of them will stay asleep, but some people are going to wake up and say, whoa, what? Listen, it happened to me with Obama. I was a Democrat. I brought up as a Democrat. But I can't say I knew why. Just, family, neighborhood, everybody's a Democrat. Okay, so I was a Democrat.
And
then Obama came along, and I started to scratch my head, and I said, wait a minute. So that moment that you say, wait a minute, and I think that's happening now. I think with a lot of people that wait a minute is really building. And it's building and building and building. And I think that we might get more principled voters coming down the stream going forward if it's not too late. That's
what my thing, Val, is it's a different paradigm for me, right? Because you can be a Democrat. I'm not knocking that hustle, right? But knowing you're holding someone accountable for a reason, you're voting for your candidate for a reason, and then your eyes then you wake up. Wait a minute. I have respect for that. It's the people that you see it on social media. Oh no, Trump is the worst. And you hear them repeating the same talking points, right? That the media is spewing out there, right? Yeah. And obviously I see it all the time. I don't engage with those people because they're going to vote against someone because they don't like them, not for the person that they want to put in. I can't deal with those kind of voters.
I agree.
Right.
But unfortunately, we're stuck with all of us.
Yeah.
We're all here in the United States, and our only hope in this given moment is that the people that are so-called Republicans will step over and start looking at reality and the issues. Not only the government, not only the people who are working for us, but our friends and our family and the people around us. Because if this is not a wake-up call, then there is no wake-up call. Then we're just going to go under. We're going to be communist China, completely controlled in every way. Yep. And that's what the CCP is doing. And, they're laughing at us. They think this is hilarious that they've spent 50 years being patient and doing their damage, like a child in the back room starting a fire with matches. That's what they've been doing. And I think we need to start doing that. And I praise any of our government people now who don't tell the public and the media everything we're doing. I see that as the problem. And granted, we all want to know. Yeah, I put on, Bannon and them. I want to know what's going on. But no, there are actors out there. People are acting behind the scenes. I mean, Trump always says the generals you see on TV are not the real generals. I take that very seriously and in a hopeful way. Right? I hope that that's the truth.
Well, it is the truth. Now, it is the truth, and I'm going to use my previous work experience for this one, right?
Okay.
Watch this. Who is the This is a question for everybody, and I want everybody to think about this a second, right? Who is the head of foreign affairs in the United States? What department is that? Foreign affairs. I'll give y'all a hint. Mike Pompeo. Who was Pompeo? What was Pompeo's position in Trump's administration? First, he was CIA, and then he went to what? Department of State, right? He was the Secretary of State, right? Right?
Okay, yeah.
Watch this. Watch this. When Trump said the real generals, right, are not on TV, he's right. Watch this. Yeah. Who can name the Director General of the Foreign Service?
Maybe Pompeo.
No.
Not me.
No.
I don't know.
No. People don't know that there's a Director General of the Foreign Service. Right? Those are that's the person that secures consulates. That person has just as much latitude as the Secretary of State. People don't know. People don't know this. This person,
and who else doesn't know it?
Yeah. Yep.
Is this what they're trying to find? Is this what they're trying to get to? Is this why they want him out?
Well, no. But the thing is I'm using it as an example, right? Because the Director General of the United States Foreign Service is Marsha Burnett. I actually know her, right?
Okay.
And these are the hardworking generals behind the scenes that Trump is talking about, right? We see the faces of the ambassadors. We see the faces of the diplomats. Ain't no move made on foreign affairs without the Director General of the Foreign Service. The assignments of ambassadors to certain countries come at high recommendation of the Director General of the Foreign Service, because that individual is responsible for the security of diplomats, ambassadors, and charge d'affaires.
Most people don't know this.
Nope.
Most people don't know this.
Nope. And there's more people like her, or like these positions that are behind the cabinet level positions, that people don't know, that really run autonomously outside. Well, not necessarily outside, because they do state, like, for example, the Director General of the Foreign Service still takes direction from the Secretary of State. But on most matters, everything's deferred to that individual.
Now, that individual is not elected, are they? They're appointed?
Yeah, they are appointed. That is correct. They are appointed.
Yeah. So, I've been, and this is right on what we're talking about. I've been thinking a lot about, like, who is behind the scenes, like, doing things. Because I can feel this, like, whoa, like an earthquake ready to happen. I've been looking a lot at this Trump-DeSantis thing, and I can't shake myself out of what's really going on here.
Right.
And I just think that what the public sees is a distraction and a diversion. 100%. And maybe even what's going on now with Trump, totally, because look at what's happening in the world. Oh, don't look at this, people. Let's look at Trump. I mean, this is a diversion from the laptop and the Ukraine war and the banking collapse and don't pay attention to that. And he gets on TV and says everything's fine. And they go, oh, okay, let's go party. This is just like watching a terrible horror movie for me. It's
like watching a bad episode of Abbott and Costello, and most of those are good.
yeah, right?
It's the whole who's on first skit.
Yeah, you're right.
Who's on first?
Who is on first?
It ain't Joe Biden.
The World Health Organization is on first.
No. I thought Joe Biden was on first, but who's on second?
I thought who was on first?
Wait a minute. I thought ice cream was on third, though.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Swirl. We gotta be.
Oh, you took the safe.
Look, we gotta be inclusive. We gotta watch out. We gotta be inclusive now. Come on now.
Exactly. Vanilla and chocolate go together. We know that now.
Ebony.
Or you're going to be in big trouble.
Ebony and ivory.
That's right. That was Stevie Wonder, right? And Paul McCartney. Yeah, that was a good song.
Yes, it was. And then Peaches and Herb
we had
did
real
it too.
hope for the world, right? We really did. That was great.
That's the thing. What happened to us after the 80s?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I mean...
I can't...
You can't what?
I can't figure this out.
Yeah. You're exactly... I mean, look, we had Live Aid concerts to support Africa. Mm-hmm. You know, all kinds of stuff. Because Africa... why'd we stop? Because Africa's still in dire straits. In so many different regards. But we just all of a sudden just stopped doing Live Aid. We stopped. Now we get to Amnesty International, right? 15 cents a day. We'll get a cup of rice for an Ethiopian kid. And I'm like, 15 cents a day for real? Come on, bruh.
I know.
Who you hustling, player?
How many people can? We got to send all our money overseas to help everybody because our government is stealing our money and robbing them.
Right.
I mean, it's so, all you got to do is look around you in this world today. I don't know how people are missing it, but they're missing it because they're watching CNN. And even CNN is starting to say, this doesn't seem right.
Hey, they said that today over the Trump indictment. They're like, John Bolton even came out in his defense, like, this ain't it.
It's not going to look good. This is not going to look good for them. No. They even admitted Alvin Braggs, Alvin and the Chipmunks. He even admitted that he just didn't know what the charge was. There was one charge and he did it 34 times. I mean, give us a break, will you?
One of them's going to stick.
Just resign.
Look.
Get out of our hair already.
Hey, look, those of you, when we got to go pay bills in a second, but those of you that want to see the actual indictment, I have it on the Patreon ready to go. You can go look at the document. All that good stuff. I have it up there for y'all. But yeah, we got to pay the bills thing. So make sure y'all do the things or whatever. Get your cheese, wine, and crackers and come back. More of our beautiful discussion about the New York state of mind. But we're going to talk about how we bring the people back around to center. We'll be back here in 5. Here on the Good Old Liberty.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks ending lower as investors weighed new declines in factory orders and fresh data hinting at a softening labor market. The number of U.S. job openings in February fell to a 21-month low. And shares of banks and other financial institutions declined after warnings from J.P. Morgan Chase's CEO, Jamie Dimon, about the ongoing fallout from the recent banking crisis. In an annual letter to shareholders, Dimon said the current turmoil was not similar to 2008, but that its repercussions could still be felt for years. The Dow falling 199 points, the Nasdaq down 63, S&P 500 down 24. An AMC Entertainment stock tumbled 24% following news that the movie theater operator said it has agreed to settle a lawsuit brought by shareholders. The move will allow the company to convert its preferred equity units into common stock. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Listen Proud podcast series looks at acts of bravery and strength by women. And in the first season, we'll look at women who played important roles in the Civil War. Episode 1. In this first episode, we will look at how the outbreak of the Civil War changed the lives of women, their status, altered their roles, and gave them new opportunities in the process. We'll hear about their motivations, love, money, patriotism. Listen ad-free on Fox News Podcasts via Apple Podcasts. And Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on Amazon Music.
This is a Fox News alert. He calls it election interference. I'm Lee Silasera. Former President Trump responds after he was arraigned in Manhattan on a 34-count indictment.
I never thought anything like this could happen in America. Never thought it could happen. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it.
Trump accuses Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg of being politically motivated.
You want to get President Trump at any cost, and this before he knew anything about me, didn't know a thing about me. He was campaigning.
This afternoon, Bragg said Trump conspired to illegally influence the 2016 election through a series of hush money payments intended to squash information that could be harmful to his candidacy.
It's not just about one payment. It is 34 business records, 34 false statements in business records. They were concealing criminal conduct.
Trump's next court date is December 4th, though it's not clear if he will be required to appear. Trump faces other allegations. Trial dates set in 2 cases, one involving allegations of assault involving author E. Jean Carroll later this month. And in a civil case in New York, Attorney General Letitia James claims Trump and his family changed property values to get better loan and investment deals. There's also an investigation in Georgia of whether Trump tried to influence 2020 election results. The calendar may say spring, but there are winter storm warnings in parts of the Midwest.
We could get between 1 to 3 inches of snow in Duluth, wind gusting up to 60 miles per hour. Residents could even experience temporary blizzard conditions. And it's not over. Tonight, we are expecting sleet to mix in with the snow, and there could be ice accumulations up to a 1/4 inch of ice.
Fox's Brandy Campbell in Duluth, Minnesota. America is listening to Fox News.
Whoa, your DSW store is having a mega sale with the lowest prices ever on best-selling brands, including Sperry, Merrill, Chaco, and Wolverine. Snag spring sandals, sneakers, and boat shoes for the family under $40. Plus must-have trail shoes under $60 and kids sandals under just $13. And hurry, these prices won't last. Get to your DSW store or DSW.com to start shopping ASAP.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is again butting heads with Disney as he works to strip the company of its autonomy within the state.
Disney CEO Bob Iger now publicly speaking out against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis replacing the special Disney board with his own allies because Disney did not support DeSantis' opposition to teaching sexual and gender orientation in school.
Simply to retaliate for a position the company took sounds not just anti-business, but it sounds anti-Florida.
Disney doubled down. Just 1 day before Governor DeSantis moved to strip Disney of special privileges, the board snuck in a last-minute deal that solidified power with the company until, quote, 21 years after the death of the last survivor of the descendants of King Charles III, King of England. Lauren Simonetti, Fox News.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is traveling to Republican-led states with a new political action committee after he banned official travel to those same states.
Gavin Newsom traveling to Alabama, Arkansas, and Mississippi this week. Personal travel, we're told, to boost Democratic gubernatorial candidates amid California's political ban on state-sponsored and state-funded travel to those and 20 other GOP-run states, prompting rumors to swirl over whether Newsom is testing the political waters while positioning himself for a potential run for the White House if President Biden bows out in 2024. Newsom's spokesperson Anthony York telling the Washington Free Beacon the governor's trip has nothing to do with a state Democrats' attempt to repeal California's state travel ban. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
About 5,000 white-collar workers at General Motors took the company's buyout offers, which the automaker says is enough to avoid layoffs at this time. GM says in a statement the offers will save about $1 billion per year in costs, about half of the $2 billion it wants to cut annually by the end of 2024. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
New from the Fox News Podcasts Network.
I'm Dana Perino. Join me for Season 3 of my limited-time podcast, Everything Will Be Okay, based on my best-selling book of the same name. Make sure you subscribe to this series wherever you download podcasts and leave a rating and review.
Welcome back to the good old experience today, y'all. Here on the good old Southern Liberty. Make sure if you ain't subscribed, make sure you do the things. You do the subscribe thing. You know, hit the subscribe, search and subscribe. It's like search and destroy, search and subscribe. That's what I need y'all to do. Search and subscribe, and then also when you search and subscribe, just throw a little link out there to your friends. In your social media, it's like, yeah, I listen to these people. These some cool ass peoples. These are they talk, and they do what they do, and it's like I appreciate that. So y'all just do the little share thing. And if you can go get on the inside of the good old Southern Liberty thing, you can go ahead and sign up for the Southern Liberty Patreon thing, and go ahead and kick on in, and get some inside information for you to see it out here anywhere else out here on the thing. You know what I mean? This is how we do. This is how we get down. I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody in the live chat as always. Love y'all. Love y'all, especially ones that have been here since day 3. And I know the ones that are here day 0, but there's day 3. Everybody, day 3. And then everybody in South Florida from Citrus County all the way on down to Monroe over here on the east side from Martin down to Dade County, Southeast Georgia, Glenn County, Camden County, Ware County, Charlton, Thomas County, Loudons County, good old state of Utah. Appreciate y'all too. How do we get back, Miss Val? How do we get back to the empire state of mind? And when I say that, I'm speaking as far as being in command of your mind, your body, your soul, and not allow yourself to be so easily manipulated, right? Your empire, right? Yourself, right? How do we get back to that?
Well, there's the individual. How do we get back to that? Just, grabbing a hold of ourselves in every moment these days. And saying, I'm not going to get caught up in all this, and they're gaslighting us. And yeah, they are, and you do get caught up for a while, and then you realize, all right, some of these forces are going to take charge of this stuff. Like Jim Jordan is ready to press charges and cut off funds to these idiots in New York. That's cool. Do it. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate that in this day and age, Nancy Pelosi said it best. Prove your innocence. This is where we're at. Because they've come at us with such, fierceness and hatred that we're fighting every single thing that we used to take for granted and that just was. So we have to keep ourselves really healthy. That's number one. And I don't know how you do that either today, to be honest with you, with the farming methods and the poisons in our environment. It's just getting harder and harder, but I think it requires talking to yourself every day and just trying your best. All we can do at this point is try our best, and every day give ourselves a pat on the back for getting through it. And look at our relatives, what they went through. My great grandpa, who I had the good fortune of actually meeting as a very young girl, but I was always very focused on people in a way that most young people are not. And I can still remember conversations that I had when I was 3 and 4 years old. So that's just me. But my great-grandpa was a Cossack in the Russian army. And he was a carpenter, and he was a woodworker. And he would share stories and give us silver dollars every time we came in as little kids. And he would share stories about Mother Russia and how much he loved it and didn't want to leave. You see, this is a concept that people have to wake up to in the United States. Where would we run back to? The countries that our ancestors ran away from? Where would we go and be accepted?
Well, hey, let's even expand on that, though, right? And you hit it. You nailed it. Where do we run to when shit gets bad? Right?
Yeah.
Most people are going to say, oh, we're going to run back to England. Well, they were the original oppressor. Right? And I'm going to have to go down the crayon box road real quick. Where are the dark people, the dark melanated people in this country, right? That have not claimed to be Native American? Where are you going? You don't know who you are. They just tell you you're from Africa because your skin is dark. You could be from Cambodia. You could be anywhere along the equator, within 200 miles of the equator, on any continent. You don't know where you're from because they have pigeonholed you into thinking that you're only from Africa. You could be from Saudi Arabia, Yemen. Right? You could be anywhere. You could be from Iraq. You don't know where you're from, but you're going to say, "Oh, I'm going to leave America." Well, where you going? Most.
It's like identifying. It's like identifying that you're a woman when you're a man, or you're a man when you're a woman. I mean, it's the same thing. We don't even know what to identify.
And look, here's the screwed up reality of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Every single person that has claimed American citizenship came over here from oppression. They came here from oppression. So please, pray tell, where you going?
Where you going? Where we going? Huh. We go to Cuba? How about Venezuela? I hear the weather's beautiful this time of year. Where are we going?
Hell, we still got people, right? I don't know what's worse, the 1,600-mile trek from Honduras to the southern border, or those 90 miles from the western coast of Cuba to Key West. What's just as bad? It takes just as long. And what are they doing? The Coast Guard is picking them up and dropping them back off over in Cuba for them to be set up to be killed for leaving.
Hey, FDR sent back a whole boatload of Jewish people on the SS St. Louis and said, go back to Hitler and get killed. Children, families. Yeah, listen, human nature sucks.
Stop. I need you to repeat that again. I need people in the back to hear what you just said. Tell them again. Tell them again.
FDR,
what did FDR do?
FDR sent the SS St. Louis, wouldn't let them land in this country, sent them back across the Atlantic Ocean, back to Nazi Germany to get exterminated. Families, children, gone.
But look, this is the party, right, of open borders. Or this has always been the party of open borders. Just not those kind.
Exactly.
Right. The America, see, and then this kind of leads into, right, what we've been fed this whole time. They say the Democrats were, we're for stable America and freedom and all that. Meanwhile, people, they pick and choose who they want to come to the country, knowing they can say, we're going to send you back to slaughter. right? Cuba, right? You talk about the SS St. Louis. Let's talk about the Haitians that are going back, it's getting hacked to death, going back because there's escaping the persecution, right? I mean, we can sit here all night and just name all this stuff off.
We could keep going for thousands of years on this topic. I mean, you know, this is why it is so important for young people to learn history, because if you don't learn it, you will never see what people are capable of. You will never come into being your own person and solving the problems of the world, which is genocide, which is disgusting, satanic behavior. It's just, there's almost no way to stop the evil, the greediness of humans. You know, Bannon was talking today about how the BRICS nations are grabbing gold with both hands right now.
Yep.
Because this is where it all comes from. Listen, Jesus said the root of all evil is money, and that was 9,000%. That's absolutely it, because it's always the money. It doesn't matter where it comes from, where it's going, but it's always the root of every issue we've ever had in our human experience. And, you know, the fact that all these countries are going to gold-backed currencies, if this isn't a wake-up call to the people who are saying, no, you know, I don't know how to do it, I don't want to do it, I can't even go there anymore, because the whole Bitcoin thing looks very frightening, and they're going to be able to control that or grab a hold of that and tax you on it or whatever. But we are setting up gold banks. It's starting in Texas and Florida. It apparently has passed legislation in a number of places, and it's something we're going to sort of move through and learn how to use. You will be able to take your cash and put it into these gold banks and turn it into gold and get like a credit card and actually spend your money based on the gold that you've been able to convert your money into. Right. I would tell people, move on this concept quickly, because, you know, this is something that, even if you buy silver, which is a lot less expensive, I think gold went up like a hell of a lot today. It's starting to happen. And if you wait too long, it's like the housing market in Florida or Texas or Tennessee, the red states. Everybody's moving here. This decision, unfortunately, should have been made a few years ago, but now it is what it is. You can't buy anything. So, you know, our finances are a big part of solving this problem so that you can feel peaceful about where you are. It always starts with us.
Right.
Put your oxygen mask on first, right? Get yourself aligned with this gold-backed currency thing. Keep your eyes on it so that you know what's happening, when it's happening, where it's happening. I'm sure you're going to be sharing this with the audience as time goes on. Mm-hmm. But this is very important. American coin is gold and silver. It has never lost value. It will never lose value. It goes back to the time of Jesus. It goes back to the medieval days, the pirates. Gold and silver is everything. There's nothing else at this point to, you know, the American dollar looks to me it's going to be just absolutely worthless, the air in the next year. No value.
Yeah.
Buy what you need now with that no value, and look, keep your eyes open to these gold banks. Yeah.
Hey, look. That's what I was saying before. I was like, you know what? Forget the check, bank run. Go get that loan. Go get that loan and stock up, right? Yeah. Because look, you can't pay back something that doesn't have value, right?
That's right.
But them goods got value.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Them goods, like, look. I mean, I know a guy. I ain't gonna say his. Well, his name's Travis. I won't say where he is though. Right? Good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he did? He got a shipping container. Okay, and I'm talking the real big ones. Everybody shows the big ones, right?
Like Miami, yeah.
And he got it about 25 years ago. This guy has this shipping container buried in his backyard, right?
Yeah.
And he has dressed it up like a house on the inside. Like, so if something was ever to pop off, he can go literally from his basement of his house straight to that house. It's like a 50-foot walk to the shipping container that's underneath the house. It has full ventilation, everything coming jutting out of the side of the mountain. Right? Whole 9 yards, whole thing. And I'm like, that's smart. And he has all his goods.
That is smart.
Right? All the food and goods he needs that will last him, he said, 10 years, easily in there 10 years. He's got enough food in there and water to last him and his family for 10 years.
Wow. But they probably go berserk. Listen, the truth of the matter is, any World War II story that you read, people were in hiding for like 4 or 5 years. And they did go berserk. You know, 2 rooms with 12 families, packed in, hiding, living in secret, lights out, barely having enough food to eat. That's another thing. You know, storing up your food. It's what else are you going to do with your money that right now you can still buy? You know, Patriot food, and you can. I don't know whether we're going to have electricity. That's like someplace where I always go, and I know Kel and I have talked about it. You and I have talked about it. If the electric goes out, and it could be for extended periods, how are you going to live?
Yeah.
No.
That's
right. You know, you got to have a solar system that you can plug things into. Mm-hmm. And boy, down here in Florida, we're going to roast like a chicken. Imagine being here in the summer without air conditioning. Yuck.
Yeah.
Really. Just like living in the freezing cold in winter without heat. Really almost as bad. We've become so reliant on the forces that be that, you know, many people don't realize it. But assuming that we will have electricity, or we will have electricity on and off, kind of like California, we need to be supplied, and we need to have American coin.
Yeah.
And watch these gold banks that are going to be opening, because it doesn't require that you buy like a $2,000 gold coin. What it would be, as I understand it, and I've been paying a lot of attention to this recently, you could take whatever you have and turn it into amounts of gold and get like a credit card and work off of that. And the government cannot confiscate it, and the government cannot tax you on it. It's just not in their control.
Right.
And that's unfortunately going to be the secret going forward as well. I know when I just did my taxes, one of the first questions the tax accountant asked me is, do you have any Bitcoin? No. Because they're looking who's been doing this, wiring money for it, buying it. They're watching this like hawks right now.
Yes, they are.
Don't let yourself, don't open yourself up to these evil government people as best you can. I mean, obviously they've got us with these devices and our rolling computers on wheels. They've got us. But, you know, we do, like I said, the best we can do every day is the best we can do every day.
Yeah.
So if the rest of the world is using gold, we better get on board with without Joe Biden, without the Nazi Party, without the WHO and the FBI and the CIA, and we could go on and on, right?
Right. That's right.
You know, my late husband wrote a book called Mad Dog Prosecutors, and I know I've given the book to you, and I've sent it to a few of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you would think people that were building solar energy plants and doing all these wonderful alternative energy things back in the late 90s and early 2000s, they would be today so, you're the best, you're the greatest. But boy, then did they want to take him down, the Democrats.
Yeah.
And they did. Yeah, I mean, they got some mad dog prosecutors, and let me tell you, they are barbaric. This criminal justice system, even what I went through, it was probably pretty equal, except that we weren't in the government. It was just lawyers and evil people that came after our, you know, publicly traded company. But it's just like a symptom of where human greed is. And these people walking around in suits in the government, they're sick because they have suits and ties on. They're sick people. They're mad dog prosecutors. That's what they are. Alvin Braggs is a mad dog prosecutor. In a suit. And he speaks nice. These people are sick. And, you know, we got to recognize that. We have to look at these Adam Schiffs and Nancy Pelosi's and Joe Biden's and his whole family and the criminal gangsters. They are sick people.
Right. Yeah.
You just have to fight the forces, and hopefully our government now, our Jim Jordans and the people out there, MTG, she did a great job hitting Adams in the teeth today in New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for her. I like her. I think she's the kind of warriors we need. I don't ever put down a warrior. If you're a warrior and you're a warrior for good causes and the causes that I feel are for freedom and liberty, I'm all for you. I don't care how you say it. I don't care what you look like. I don't care who you hang out with. You're my girl. You're my guy. I love warriors.
Right. Right, and I agree. It's just some of them, and this is just personal for me. Some of them, they just some things they do, they get beside me. I'm like, you can't say, like, that's not the right context. You should be saying that in. Oh man, you know what I mean?
But nobody's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect.
No,
You're not gonna approve of everything that everybody does, and that's where we need to hold hands and just do what we have to do. We don't have to like each other and every part of each other. We don't always have to get along, right? We just have a focus, and let's just go and let's just do this. Let's save this country.
Agreed. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at, kind of with it too.
Yep. Where we got to be. Save this country. Save the children.
That's first and foremost. We gotta do the things. We gotta roll out, Ms. Val. Thank you as always for the conversation. I know everybody else enjoyed it. Make sure y'all stop back by Friday. For Fried Up Friday. Those of you that are on the Patreon, I'm gonna try to broadcast on the Patreon either tomorrow or Thursday as a test. Probably tomorrow, as a test to get information out. So be on the lookout for that, and all that good stuff. But enjoy your week. We'll see you here on Friday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Life, love, liberty, and happiness. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Southern Liberty Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others. Post about it on social media. subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.bpmg.us, or leave a rating and review on iTunes. To catch all the latest from Roderick, you can follow him on social media at manofjustice007. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.